When God is about to bless you, the first sign is not always what you expect. It doesn't begin with applause, success, or a sudden abundance. It begins with a shift, a divine stirring deep inside your spirit. You can't explain it, but something changes. The places you once found comfort in begin to feel unfamiliar. The conversations that once fed you now drain your soul. The things that used to excite you lose their power. It's not confusion, it's separation. This is how God prepares His chosen ones. Before He pours new wine, He cleansed the vessel. Before He blesses your life, He reorders it. You may think your world is falling apart, but in truth, it's falling into alignment. God never blesses chaos. He brings order before overflow. That's why discomfort is not your enemy. It's a divine signal that the atmosphere around you is changing. Heaven is rearranging your path for promotion. When God chooses you for greatness, He refuses to let you remain comfortable in average places. The familiar becomes too small for the destiny inside you. It's like a seed pushing against the soil, uncomfortable. Yes. That pressure you feel is not punishment. It's the labor pain before birth. God is saying, you've outgrown this level. I am calling you higher. In this season, you'll feel a spiritual restlessness. You'll wake up in the middle of the night sensing that something greater is calling you. Your spirit knows what your eyes cannot yet see. That stirring is not anxiety, it's God awakening your divine potential. You are being shifted from convenience to conviction, from comfort to calling. But to walk into the blessing, you must be willing to leave the womb of familiarity. The old cannot hold what God is birthing in you. Every blessing demands a letting go. Every elevation requires an exit. You cannot carry old habits, old fears, or old relationships into a new season. So when God begins to shake your foundation, don't panic. The shaking is not destruction, it's preparation. The second sign often follows isolation. Suddenly the people you depended on begin to fade away. Calls stop. Support grows silent. The ones you trusted seem distant. You may feel abandoned, but heaven calls it redirection. God removes people not to punish you, but to protect you. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into your blessing. Before every public blessing, there is a private pruning. God hides you in solitude to teach you what crowds cannot. He silences the noise so you can finally hear His voice. It's in those quiet, lonely moments that revelation comes. You begin to discern who is for you and who was only around you. You learn to lean not on people, but on the presence of God. So if you find yourself in a season where everything feels uncertain and everyone seems distant, take heart. You are not forgotten. You are being refined. You are in divine preparation. The fewer the hands in your life, the easier it is for God to shape you. This is the holy transition. Before breakthrough, the space where heaven rearranges the puzzle piece of your destiny. Don't resist the discomfort. Don't fear the isolation. The same God who removes is the same God who restores. And when the time comes, He will reintroduce you, but this time in glory. When God is about to bless you, one of the clearest signs is that enemies suddenly appear. You may wonder why the moment you decide to grow, to believe again, or to step forward, everything seems to turn against you. The answer is simple. The enemy never fights what does not threaten him. If you were insignificant, there would be silence. But when your name begins to echo in unseen realms, when your obedience shakes the kingdom of darkness, warfare, do not fear it. See it as confirmation. God allows resistance not to destroy you, but to train you. The pressure you feel is heaven's gym, where faith becomes muscle and endurance becomes strength. You will know your blessing is near when accusations arise without reason, when those who once supported you suddenly criticize, when misunderstandings multiply. It may hurt, but it's divine evidence. You are being refined, not rejected. God is using your enemies as instruments of acceleration. What they meant for harm, He will convert into honor. Remember Joseph. Before he ruled Egypt, his own brothers betrayed him. Before David wore the crown, Saul threw spears at him. Before Jesus rose in glory, He was crucified by those He came to save. In God's kingdom, betrayal is not the end, it's the bridge. Every great calling must pass through the fire of opposition. The greater the calling, the hotter the flame. When you see the storm rising, don't retreat. Stand still. The same wind that tries to break you is the wind that will lift you. The storm that threatens your peace is the storm that will reveal your strength. Because God is not testing your comfort, He is testing your conviction. The fourth sign of a coming blessing is the divine test of faith. Suddenly, doors that once opened easily begin to close. Prayers that used to bring instant answers now seem to echo in silence. You may ask, God, where are you? But heaven is not ignoring you. It is observing you. Faith that has never been tested cannot be trusted. God delays not to deny, but to develop. He hides the evidence of blessing to see if you will still believe when nothing makes sense. Will you worship without reward? Will you keep sowing without seeing harvest? Will you keep trusting when heaven seems silent? Those who endure this stage pass through a sacred fire of transformation. Because faith is not proven in abundance, it is proven in absence. When you can say, God, even if I see nothing, I still believe, you graduate from needing signs to becoming one. Heaven looks for those who believe, not because of what they see, but because of who He is. And once your faith has stood the test, clarity begins to dawn. After confusion, peace arrives like the morning sun. The fog that clouded your mind lifts. You begin to see purpose in every pain, protection in every rejection, and guidance in every delay. This is God whispering, Now you understand why I took you this way. It's in that moment of divine understanding that your heart becomes still. What once frustrated you now feels gratitude. The blessing that was delayed is no longer just a gift. It becomes a revelation. You realize that what seemed like a chaos was in fact a choreography. Heaven was orchestrating a masterpiece behind the veil. When God brings you to that point of holy awareness, do not look back. You are standing at the threshold of manifestation. The peace you feel is not ordinary. It is the mark of divine order. It means the storm has done its work and the sky is ready to clear. The blessing is closer than it appears. Stay faithful in the silence. The test is not to crush you, it's to confirm you. The next door that opens will not be by effort, but by divine command. When God decides to bless you, time itself begins to bend. What once took years will start unfolding in moments. The same prayers that seemed unanswered suddenly gain speed. The right people show up. The right doors open. Opportunities appear as if heaven itself rearranged the calendar to favor your destiny. That is not coincidence, it is divine acceleration. You may look around and wonder, why is everything happening so fast? It's because your preparation is complete. God never rushes, but He always redeems time. Every delay you endured, every tear you cried, every disappointment that humbled you, none of it was wasted. God was synchronizing your timeline with His perfect will. When the blessing season arrives, what others accomplish in decades, you will achieve in months. The same God who turned Joseph from prisoner to prime minister in one day can shift your story in a moment. Acceleration is not about speed, it's about alignment. When heaven's timing meets your obedience, destiny moves without resistance. But hear this truth. Before the external acceleration comes the internal elevation. God always blesses your inner life before He blesses your outer circumstances. You will start feeling it long before you see it. Your desires will begin to change. The noise of the world will lose its attraction. Peace will become more valuable than popularity. Purpose more important than possessions. That is not you losing passion, it's you gaining wisdom. The closer you move to your blessing, the more your soul craves purity. You begin to release old grudges, heal from past wounds, and forgive people who never apologized. That inner cleansing is divine preparation. God cannot pour living water into a bitter vessel. He must first remove the residue of pain, pride, and doubt. This is why the seventh sign of a coming blessing is spiritual elevation. Your spirit rises before your status does. You begin to sense heaven's presence in the smallest details of life. Your prayers change. You stop asking for things and start asking for purpose. You stop chasing outcomes and start seeking alignment. You begin to understand that the blessing you truly need is not material, it's transformational. In this season, God begins to whisper to your heart, you are ready. You feel it in your peace. You sense it in your rest. You no longer strive to make things happen. You trust that what belongs to you cannot miss you. That unexplainable calm in the middle of chaos is not imagination, it's divine assurance. But be aware, when peace arrives, the enemy panics. He will attack your mind with doubt, fear, and anxiety. He will try to convince you that nothing is changing, that you misunderstood, that perhaps your faith was in vain. Do not believe it. The enemy always strikes hardest before breakthrough. His goal is to exhaust your hope before heaven delivers. When those thoughts come, silence them with the truth. Say to yourself, if God brought me this far, He will finish what He started. Speak faith when fear whispers. Declare victory when doubt shouts. The mind is the battlefield, and whoever wins it determines the season that follows. Guard your thoughts as treasures, because they shape the world you walk into. God is not slow. He is strategic. He blesses not at the convenient time, but at the perfect time. You may not see movement yet, but in the unseen realm, everything is already set. Angels are aligning circumstances. Favor is being dispatched, and your name is being spoken in rooms you haven't entered yet. So stand firm. You are not behind. You are being positioned. The same God who took years to prepare you can release the blessing in a single moment. Divine acceleration is never random. It's the reward of readiness. The waiting season is ending. The blessing season is beginning. Heaven's hand is moving, and your story is about to shift. When God is preparing to bless you, He often leads you into a hidden season, a time when it seems like nothing is happening. Even though everything is, you may look around and see silence, but in heaven there is movement. This is the sacred moment between promise and manifestation, a time of divine obscurity where God hides what He's building. You may feel invisible, overlooked, or forgotten. But you are not lost. You are being protected. Just as a seed must stay buried before it breaks the ground, God hides His most valuable vessels until their roots are strong enough to handle the weight of fruit. Your hidden season is not rejection, it is preservation. Many people mistake this silence for abandonment. They cry, God, where are you? But He whispers, I'm here, strengthening what the world cannot see. Before public elevation comes private refinement. God refines your motives, purifies your desires, and confronts your fears. He does not expose you before He establishes you. During this time, everything that's not built on Him begins to shake. If your peace depended on people, He'll remove their approval. If your joy was tied to circumstances, He'll let those circumstances shift. God wants you anchored in Him alone. Because when your dependence is on the unshakable, no storm can collapse your soul. Then comes a deeper stage, spiritual conflict. The atmosphere around you feels unsettled. Your emotions fluctuate. Your relationship face tension. It's because light and darkness are wrestling for your next season. Heaven is pulling you forward while hell is trying to drag you back. The chaos you feel is not random. It's the clash between who you were and who you are becoming. In this battle, you must choose. Will you cling to comfort or step into calling? Will you let fear define you or let faith define you? Every test is a divine invitation to rise higher, to trust deeper, to believe stronger. The moment you choose faith over fear, peace begins to return. When peace comes, so does clarity. God reveals what was hidden inside you all along. You begin to see your own strength, your hidden gifts, your resilience. You realize that the fire you went through didn't destroy you, it defined you. You come out purified, lighter, wiser, and ready. This is when God begins to uncover your fears, not to shame you, but to free you. He will bring your insecurities to the surface because blessings require boldness. You cannot carry divine favor with a fearful heart. So He trains you to walk in courage. Each time you face fear and move forward anyway, heaven takes note. Courage becomes your access key to greater levels. In this hidden season, God also awakens a holy dissatisfaction within you. You stop tolerating mediocrity. You no longer accept average. Something inside you hungers for excellence, not to impress, but to express His glory. That's how you know transformation is happening. The old version of you starts to fade. Your thoughts change, your habits shift, your speech matures, you are being remade in silence. And just when you begin to doubt again, God sends divine interruptions, closed doors, unexpected detours, endings you didn't plan. These are not punishments. They are redirections. God saw something ahead that you didn't. Every no was His way of saying, trust me, I have better. So do not mourn what left. The same God who closed one door has already prepared another that will open effortlessly. His blessings never require force, they flow. When the time comes, your hidden season will end, not because you chase opportunity, but because opportunity finds you. And when it does, you will understand why God hid you. He was building not just a moment of blessing, but a life capable of sustaining it. You are not behind the schedule. You are right on time in God's time. When the blessing draws near, God often calls you into stillness. You begin to crave silence, not because you are tired of people, but because your spirit longs for His presence. Suddenly, noise feels heavy. Crowds feel distant. You desire moments alone with God. This is not isolation, it is intimacy. He is pulling you closer to reveal the final instructions before your breakthrough. The blessing He is about to release requires precision, and only a still heart can hear clearly. The world glorifies busyness, but heaven whispers in quiet places. It is in stillness that divine direction is received, battles are won, and destinies are unlocked. In this sacred silence, something supernatural happened. The release of burdens. The pain that once consumed you begins to lose its grip. The people who hurt you no longer occupy your heart. You forgive not because they deserve it, but because your soul is tired of carrying what no longer belongs. That release is not weakness, it is healing. You will feel peace rise where resentment once lived. You will weep not from sorrow, but from freedom. God is cleansing your inner world because no blessing can rest upon a restless soul. Before He restores what was lost, He restores your peace. And once peace returns, you will notice divine ease entering your life. What once required struggle now flows smoothly. Doors open without effort. People help you without being asked. Even nature seems to cooperate with your purpose. That is not coincidence, it is alignment. When your heart, mind, and actions synchronize with God's will, creation itself responds. In this new rhythm, you realize that striving was never necessary, only surrender. What the world calls luck is actually grace in motion. You'll begin to see how every delay, every closed door, and every heartbreak were all parts of God's choreography. They were not blocking you. They were preparing you for a greater reveal. But remember, every blessing carries a responsibility. God does not pour abundance into your life just to make you comfortable. He does it to make you useful. Blessings are meant to flow through you, not stop with you. When you become a vessel instead of a container, heaven keeps pouring. If you want your blessing to grow, share it. Use your abundance to lift others. Use your experience to guide. Use your words to heal. The more you pour out, the more God pours in. He trusts generous hearts because they reflect His nature. A selfish vessel dries up, but a giving one overflows. As your blessing nears, doubt may whisper again. It will say, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's not my time. But understand, doubt is the shadow of destiny. It only appears where there is light. Let it remind you that something radiant is approaching. Silence it by remembering everything God has already done. If He carried you through storms before, He will carry you through this calm. Gratitude become your greatest weapon now. When you thank God, even before the manifestation, you shift the atmosphere. Gratitude attracts favor because it tells heaven, I trust you even before I see it. The thankful heart sees abundance even in small beginnings. Gratitude turns waiting into worship and preparation into power. You will know the blessing has begun not when everything changes externally, but when your heart feels light, your mind feels clear, and your peace feels unshakable. That is the evidence that heaven has already moved. The old anxiety will no longer rule you. The opinions of others will lose their weight. You will look around and realize without effort, without struggle, everything is finally falling into place. This is the stillness before the outpouring, the calm before divine rain. Stay quiet, stay faithful, stay thankful. The blessing is not coming, it's already unfolding. There comes a moment when everything that once felt uncertain begins to make sense. The waiting, the silence, the tears, the stretching, all of it was leading to this divine unveiling. When God decides the time is right, His blessing doesn't enter quietly. It enters unmistakably. You will look back and realize that every prayer, every delay, every closed door was pointing you toward this very moment. When the blessing arrives, it doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you. You begin to see life differently. Gratitude becomes natural. Joy feels effortless. Your faith is no longer fragile. It is unshakable. You stop trying to prove your worth because your peace speaks louder than your achievements. You know deep within, God did this. The people who once overlooked you will begin to see what God has done. You won't need to defend yourself or explain your journey. Your transformation will speak for you. God blesses His children in such a way that no one can deny His hand upon their lives. He honors those who stood firm in faith when nothing seemed to work. The reward for endurance is always visibility. He reveals what He refined in secret. This is how God operates. He blesses you publicly after refining you privately. The hidden season produces the strength you need to stand in the spotlight without losing humility. He allows the storm to shape you so that when calm arrives, you carry both peace and power. Every scar becomes a testimony. Every struggle, a sermon. And then something even deeper happens. You realize that blessings were never just about things, they were about purpose. You begin to crave meaning more than possessions. You want to serve, to give, to uplift, to love. Because true blessings don't stop with you, they flow through you. This is the final secret. God blesses those who become channels of His goodness. The more you share what He gives, the more He multiplies it. The more you give love, the more love fills your heart. The more you give hope, the more hope surrounds your life. God expands the vessels that pour, not the one that store. So, as the blessing unfolds, never forget the journey that birthed it. Remember the nights when you had nothing but faith. Remember the moments when you chose worship over worry. Remember how God met you in the silence and taught you to trust His unseen hand. That memory will keep you humble, grounded, and grateful. And yes, there will still be challenges ahead. Every new level brings new responsibility, but you are no longer the same person who started the journey. The trials that once scared you now strengthen you. The waiting that once frustrated you now fuels your wisdom. You have learned that the greatest miracle is not the blessing itself, it's the becoming. It creates within you, so lift your head high. This is your moment to rise, to shine, to walk in everything God prepared for you. You are not lucky, you are chosen. You are not forgotten, you are favored. The same God who led you through valleys is now placing you on mountains. And when He opens that door, walk through it boldly. Don't shrink back. Don't question if you deserve it. The process purified you for this. The wilderness trained you for this. The silence anointed you for this. You are ready. Say it with faith. God, prepare me for what you have prepared for me. Let every blessing you release flow through me to bless others. This is your divine moment. The signs have been fulfilled. The season has shifted. The blessing is here, unshakable, undeniable, unstoppable. And when it arrives, the world will not just see your success, they will see God's faithfulness written all over your life. Your wait is over. Your purpose has begun. The blessing is no longer on the way. It has arrived.